Sullivan. And just so members know, I'm trying to get these last questions in and then get to the vote. So if there's anybody else out there, you better come now because we'd like to get to the vote. Thank you. Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Ms. Sohn, I do want to go back to this issue that I just raised here a couple minutes ago, and it goes to this issue of recusal. And again, we all have our views, right? I think a lot of the industry has taken a neutral position in part because you're going to have so much power over them, which I think is also troubling. But there's a recent letter to Senator Cantwell and Senator Wicker from NCTA. And they raised the same issue that I just raised. I'm going to quote from it. Michael Powell, a former commissioner, very well respected, in the letter, he said, first, there is no explanation for why these particular broadcast matters are singled out. Given the breadth of the issues in which public knowledge was involved under Ms. Sohn's leadership, her recusal should logically extend to all matters in which public knowledge was active, or conversely, none of those activities should give rise to recusal. So you're kind of in this middle zone, right? You're saying, I'm going to be recused, and yet you're kind of half in, I think, to address some of the issues that Senator Wicker mentioned. But you have weighed in, you and your organization, you were the co-founder of the organization, so that's your voice, on all kinds of issues that are, again, going to be front and center. And it goes directly to Senator Scott's previous question, which is, how can you come into this from the perspective of a neutral observer who doesn't have a predisposed view on some of these issues? That's a polite way of saying, or more legitimately for this hearing, which I think is not pointless, by the way, that this goes to the issue of conflicts. It seems to me you have conflicts everywhere, and that makes your impartiality, not to mention your judgment. I think you have very big issues with judgment given your previous tweets. When you besmirch half the American population as white supremacists, it's probably not very good judgment. But again, to the recusal issue, why shouldn't you be recused on everything that you've come in on? These are front and center issues directly that are going to be before you if you get confirmed.
Senator, my recusal is tethered, okay, to my tenure as a board member of low caste. Okay, the way you're describing my recusal is untethered to any concern that has been raised by this committee about any relationship that I had. Okay?
I'm raising, this committee in the form of me is raising concerns right now about your advocacy as the head of public knowledge.
I understand, Senator, and by your logic—
by the way, it's not just me. You have the industry that you're going to, one of the elements of the industry that you're going to regulate has the same issues. This is one of many letters we've received.
Yes, Senator. Let me try to explain. By your logic, nobody who had ever taken a public position on any telecommunication or media issue, be they a corporate lawyer, a lawyer in private practice, an academic, would ever be able to be an FCC commissioner.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
well, that is what you're saying.
1,100 filings. There's a bit difference. At a certain point, quantity becomes its own quality here. And
well, the ethics rules don't say that, and the ethics laws don't say this. This is a voluntary, temporary, narrow recusal.
But you don't think this goes to the issue of impartiality?
No, sir, because I believe I can be impartial, because I will have to look at the record. Frankly, I didn't have to recuse here. I was doing this solely to address the concern of many members of this committee about my involvement with low caste.
Let me ask one other.
I certainly believe I could be impartial with regard to retransmission consent and broadcast TV copyright, but I voluntarily recused in order to ensure—
Sorry, I'm going to ask another question here before my time runs out.
Please.
Net neutrality. Do you think Congress or the FCC has the authority to undertake net neutrality? Here's my Here's more specific. Many of us on both sides of the aisle here, Senator Thune, Senator Sinema, Senator Cantwell, have been working on this issue. Now, it's complicated. It's taking a long time. You know, that's part of our constitutional structure. As you know, ask James Madison about how long it can take to make a law, particularly on something very complicated. Here's the question I have. Is it ever okay to say, hey, look, you elected officials, not very knowledgeable, you're taking too long, let us experts get to work and we'll devise net neutrality rules? This is kind of what Chairman Wheeler did. I know you worked for him on that. Who has the authority to undertake net neutrality legislation?
Well, legislation, obviously, Congress, right? I
Rules.
mean, the FCC adopts policy, and the D.C. Circuit has said that the FCC has the authority.
What if we take too long? It's taken a long time. I would agree with that.
That's a bad intro, because you're over another 40 seconds here. Can we?
Well, Madam Chair, it's a really important question. I think some Democrat
I know, but you're on
senators-
round 2, and I'm trying to get these guys in round 1, so.
Well, can she just answer the question?
May I answer?
Yes, please.
As I said to, I think it was Senator Moran, I would love to see Congress settle the matter of FCC authority and net neutrality. But until then, the FCC has the authority to act, and the federal courts, D.C. Circuit, in the Mozilla case and in the Verizon case, said the FCC has authority to act, has the authority to adopt net neutrality rules, and authority to repeal them.
Yeah, and I wasn't, she had answered that same question with some of our colleagues. That's why I was, trying to speed it up. Okay, we have Senator Young, then Senator